Okay, we are recording.
Okay, so the first question is, overall, does it seem like the company is in good shape?
Um,
I think the company's in fabulous shape.
I think so. Yeah.
yes, I'd
I,
say I would agree. Airbnb is in very good shape. Their their only real concern is uh, local cities and governments. They've had quite a bit of issues with people not liking rentals and short-term rentals.
Very true.
This is something I actually have had a nice experience with because we were doing rental in my basement with Airbnb, and we were asked to stop by they shut us down because they didn't like having rentals.
Who asked you to shut down? You cut out.
The city of Bountiful.
Really?
Oh.
All right.
So I'm pretty familiar with Airbnb.
Awesome.
Sorry, my computer keeps freaking out again. Yeah, I didn't hear like anything you guys have said, but um, I've definitely used Airbnb a few times, and I personally like it. It's a lot cheaper than hotels. So,
That's their mission.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they're doing really well. I mean, it says they're valued at $10 billion, so for only being in the market for as long as they've been, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
That's what Snapchat sold for several years ago. 10 billion. So that's huge.
That's very huge.
Okay. Do we want the next question?
Yeah.
Okay. So, how do you think the company is doing in terms of the 5 types of values? And then what is their strongest value and why, and what is their weakest value and why?
I think to start off with their weakest, their value in fitness and the future, I say is a lot stronger now with the problems of security and the robbery that they had at one of their customers' homes that rented out their home. So them getting an insurance policy, upgrading all of that has really helped. So I think that was a weak point, but now it's a lot stronger.
Yeah, definitely.
I think one of their strongest ones is their value distribution because it's all online. So it's like anyone has access to the internet, everything's down there.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing too. Just because, you know, if you're in a different city, you'd be able to jump on and find a cheap place to stay for the night until you find somewhere more concrete.
Yeah. And like if you see the chart that they have on there, just like the increase of the nights that have been booked, like it's gone up a lot.
Yeah.
And like quite fast in the past. What was it? How many? Less than 6 months in January 2012, like that went up a lot.
Yeah. I think their strongest points are actually their value in use as well as their value in exchange.
Oh yeah.
Both of those are really strong. They actually provide 2 different products. If you understand what Airbnb does, not only do they provide a way for people to rent a cheap room, but they also provide a way for someone to get an extra income through renting out a room or a basement or whatever it may be.
Yeah, exactly.
That is something that a lot of people don't really quite understand of what Airbnb provides is they are allowing local people to get that extra that they would not be able to just about any other way other than working a part-time job, and it wouldn't be near as flexible nor near as forgiving as having a job.
Definitely. Well, what was the statistic that they said that 42% of users that's partially their income?
Something like that, yeah. I don't remember the exact percentage, but
Yeah.
It's incredible.
42.
Yeah.
Sorry, my dog's here. Sit. Sit. She's all wet. She was chasing the sprinklers around in the backyard, and now she's soaking wet all over the carpet and the tile.
We'll move on to the next question.
Okay, so how could you strengthen their weakest value then? I guess depending on what your opinion of their weakest value is, kind of changes that question, but
I think their weakest value is their value in fitness. There has been a lot of resistance among certain communities. If you look at the state of New York, city of Los Angeles, any of your major metropolitan areas, a lot of them are putting up quite a bit of fight to allowing people to sit, rent out space in their own homes. I think that there needs to be some way to adapt to that, whether it's finding a way to lobby, even in, sit, even in local city governments, all the way up to state governments. I don't know how you're going to do that because it's quite a bit, and there's a lot of territory to cover there.
Yeah, I think that's definitely their weakest point right now. What was the information they gave that the bill had been passed that you can't rent out anything less than 29 days or something like that?
Yeah, that was the state of New York.
Yeah.
Or sorry, city of New York. It's a hotel law that makes it illegal for residents to rent their property for less than 29 days.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you consider Airbnb a rental, or do you consider it a hotel? Because there really is not a whole lot of difference between the two.
it kind of fits in as both because like they definitely have their like 1 night, 2 night rentals, but then they also have places that you can rent out for a month or whatever, depending where you are and what you want. So it's kind of hard to like put a specific name to it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be interesting to see what happens as they tackle that problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can say I am trying to help with the solution to this problem. Just a little plug out there to put out there for everybody. If you're familiar with Libertas Institute, they're a libertarian think tank group based out of Lehigh. They are actively lobbying, trying to get more lenient laws for allowing people to rent using Airbnb. They've done quite a bit at the Capitol as well as in a few different cities in northern Utah. I've worked with them a little bit. They've done some different articles and other things as well as their active lobbying efforts. Not a whole lot of headway being made yet, but we could always use more help to get that headway cleared.
For sure.
Right.
I'd definitely be interested in helping.
Yeah. Check them out, libertas.org. Oh,
Question?
Um, okay, what could happen that would lessen the company's value?
I guess just more people having problems with security and who they're letting in their homes. I mean, that one robbery it seemed like it made a pretty big dent in their business and what they had to do to fix that. So, I mean, if that continues, that would obviously hurt them.
Right. I think something that's interesting, though, is the article said that the way Airbnb has set up their business model, all of their customers and even probably a lot of their renters are really, really loyal, which is something that's very hard to get and create from a customer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely a huge hurdle. And then
another thing would just be like that law that was passed in New York City or the city of New York. If that starts going up everywhere, obviously they're going to lose a lot of revenue from that.
definitely. I think long term, it's definitely that bill that was passed in the city of New York. So that's their biggest concern.
yeah. Value in fitness there. It needs some help.
Yeah.
Cool.
I agree.
So move on to the next question.
Yeah.
Last one.
Okay, so what do you think the future holds for the company?
I think they're going to continue to do well. I had never heard of that company. And after I read the article, I wanted to look on there. I'm like, oh, that's cool, just to see, the difference between a hotel and that, and like what the website has to offer. And I thought it was
Come
kind of
here. Come here.
I've
Come
like
here.
currently my mom is traveling and like she just checked into Airbnb this morning and she loves it. So like I've stayed in a few myself and like I think especially since I feel like the traveling market is really growing. And like flights aren't that cheap, so people want like cheaper places to stay. And like a lot of times like people really like staying in someone's like local home because then you get more of like that local feel to wherever you're going. Versus like staying in a big Marriott or whatever where everyone else around you is from all over the place and like you don't really get as much of that local feel, I guess. So
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. I think based upon their history thus far and how much they've grown, especially the revenue that they've generated and how much that's doubled and is going to triple with their what do you call it? Just what the future holds for them. I think they have a solid future ahead of them.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think it's just going to continue to grow and get better as more people start to travel and want a cheaper place to stay, especially when you've got people that are just wanting to travel, just pick up and leave and travel everywhere. That'd be, a great resource for them to have.
Mm-hmm.
I think something that's important to note is the average. Did it say the average age is 35?
Right.
I think that just a younger population that uses Airbnb would seem more loyal, especially just because it's a win-win benefit for the renter as well as the person who owns the property. And so I think that's just going to create a lot of loyalty and they're going to want to push and also support Airbnb if worse comes to worse and bills start getting passed against it.
Yeah, I think they've got a great outlook for the future. Again, it really does come down to the governance. The value and fitness. If they can actively lobby against a lot of the people who are against allowing situations, they've got a really bright future. Right now, it is kind of a big toss-up in a lot of the bigger areas, the more populated areas. They're having a harder time getting acceptance there. But I think it's possible. It's just going to take a lot of effort on the part of Airbnb as well as a lot of effort on the people who do their hosting or renting.
Right.
I just missed all of that because my computer freaked out again. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I think they've really hit the jackpot with the market imperfection that they've found, and it's one that is going to be around for a long time. So,
Come here. Hey. All right. Well, I think we are done.
Okay.
Sweet.
Do you have anything else to comment on, Ava?
I don't think so. Kind of missed half of what you guys said because my computer keeps freaking out. So, but yeah, okay.
All right. You'll be able to watch the recording. It shouldn't be too long.
Apologize. Hopefully next week my computer won't freak out.
All right. I'll go ahead and stop recording now then.
Okay.